Welcome to JYSooner and AtlantaSooner, present Oklahoma football and recruiting. I'm AtlantaSooner, Chris Mason, and I've been following Oklahoma recruiting obsessively since about 1997. My partner in crime is JYSooner.
Hey guys, I'm Jason Young, also known as JY, father of trench warfare, and just overall awesome guy. Glad to be on here with Atlanta. He is the old school recruiting guru for all of us guys that are in the know, and he's going to be dropping knowledge on you today.
All right, we're going to start off with some quick recruiting notes. And the biggest news, obviously, is what occurred last Wednesday. OU was able to close out National Signing Day with 4 new commitments and signees. And that pushed OU to having a consensus number 8 class in the nation, which, if you consider all the things that have gone on in the last 70 days for the OU Sooner fan base and the OU football program, including decommits from 3 to 4 5-star range players, that's pretty amazing. So just a great end for OU's recruiting. If you have a chance, Sooner Sports has a long recruiting special. Lots of good interviews with the coaches talking about both the recruits and also some portal information. So if you're a little unfamiliar with who OU got from a portal standpoint, we'll be going over that. We'll be doing reviews of the portal players as well. But the Sooner Sports site can give you some quick information on the portal players as well.
Chris, do you think there was a big signing day surprise in your opinion, or was it the guy that the Sooners missed out on that surprised you the most?
Well, I think the signing day surprise for everybody was that OU was able to get both R. Mason Thomas and Cavante Henry, because they're both really interesting edge outside linebackers, defensive ends. They missed on the big defensive tackle from Miami, Ahmad Moten. He chose to stay home with the Hurricanes, and that was a little bit of a blow because I really liked him at the defensive tackle spot. Thought he would have been the best high school defensive tackle OU would have gotten. But really closing on those 4 guys, getting 4 out of the 5 guys that took official visits to OU in the later signing period was just a tremendous close. I know a lot of the recruiting analysts think Jamarian Burt was a huge steal, and he's going to end up being a player. We all wonder why we didn't, ballyhoo more. I really like Cavante Henry. He's nearly 6'5", 230. He plays running back and defensive end in high school, so he's really raw. But he's 6'5", 230 right now. But JY, he looks like he's maybe 6'5", 200 frame-wise. He carries it really well. He's super athletic. So I think he's probably going to be, with strength and conditioning and a training table, he could be 6'5", 250, 255 with just blazing speed off the corner. The Sooner coaches are huge about R. Mason Thomas. They think they offered him immediately. They couldn't offer him at Clemson because they had that spot filled by top 50 player Jahad Campbell from IMG. But the Sooner coaches immediately offered, the Clemson coaches that came to OU immediately offered R. Mason Thomas, and they think he could be the next Vic Beasley, who was a star at Clemson, terrorized OU in that horrible bowl game where Clemson beat OU senseless, went on to the NFL and had several productive years with the Atlanta Falcons. So they certainly missed on Moten, but I think in those 2 rush ends, they may have gotten 2 players who can attack the quarterback and get to the quarterback, which is just huge in today's football.
Yeah, who do you think R. Mason Thomas reminds you of if you had to do a quick comparison?
He's probably a taller, rangier Nick Benito.
Okay.
Maybe some oboe in there as well.
All right. I think those are both great comparisons. Yeah.
He really attacks the quarterback, really a good wingspan, and just really knows how to get after the quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly and OU can get him into the starting lineup and how Brent uses him, because he's a little more of a 3-4 outside linebacker, but we're not really sure what Brent's going to do defensively, and we're obviously going to try and delve into that in this offseason with some videos to help our viewers.
Sure. And you had a guy named Jeremy Bill a few years ago that was very similar that he was very productive with.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how those two edge guys are used. But those are two, attacking the quarterback is just key in today's football.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to Nick Anderson and talk a little bit about what OU got in Nick Anderson. So he's a composite 250 on the 247 network. As I mentioned in our last video, On3 seems to like some of the guys OU signed more than the other networks. He's ranked in the top 100 by them. His stats aren't huge for a wide receiver, mainly because Katy High School has an impressive run game, and they've always known for it. And his younger brother, he's the younger brother of OU running back Rodney Anderson. Speaking of the Katy running game, that helped the Sooners. He visited OU the weekend of October 29th, and he received his OU offer that weekend. So the previous staff recruited him, and he stayed with OU. He was previously committed to Oregon, and he decommitted from Oregon right after the OU visit and committed to OU just pretty much the same day. It was a Twitter, I'm decommitting from Oregon, I'm committing to OU kind of situation. Oregon, who was recruiting really well last year before their coach left and everything kind of fell apart for them. We obviously know their pain that way. So, Oregon obviously felt, good enough about him to offer him in the early summer and take him as one of their wide receiver verbals. And they were recruiting a lot of good wide receivers at that point before their coach left and everything kind of fell apart for them in early December. So, hopefully Nick can avoid the injury bug his brother ran into. But he's a big athlete, 6'3", 190, 195 with good speed. There's another Anderson brother who ended up at Ole Miss as a defensive end. So, and we all know how much we loved Rodney running the ball and had wished, it's amazing to imagine that 2008 offense if it had had a healthy Rodney Anderson all year. I think Kyler and Rodney would have been pretty scary. So yeah, he's got great genes and real connections to the program. He never wavered after Lincoln left. He was definitely sticking with OU.
Yeah, it's always fun to play what if with Rodney Anderson. Do you think Kyler Murray wins the Heisman Trophy with the healthy Rodney Anderson? So because he was on a tear early in the season.
Yeah, so you never quite know there, but obviously, Nick is a really good athlete, and I think he's just scratching the surface of his potential. So let's take a look at how he looks on video. We pull up Rodney's video. Sorry, Nick, I'm going to do that a lot. I think I'm not going to be the only person doing that. So here's some clips of him.
You're going to see the double move here.
Yeah.
Throws to the opposite shoulder right there. He's able to adjust to the ball in the air. I really like that about him. He's a good route runner. He's got long speed. He's very smooth.
Yeah, let me roll back this catch. That's a great catch in the end zone right there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you like this about Nick's game is the fact that playing for a powerhouse like Katy, he's such a big part of the offense. I mean, they're finding ways to get him involved with the jet sweeps. He's got the long speed, like what we talked about. He's smart with how he runs his routes. He makes everything look the same. So you'll see him get really wide open a lot. And then he can go over the middle, make the tough catch. He's kind of fearless. He's physical. Like I said, he's got the long speed, can get his feet down in bounds. He's aware of the space. He operates really well. Here's another jet sweep. You see the physicality right there. I really like that a lot. He's not afraid to mix it up. And here's another jet sweep. And I like this where he gets pushed out a little bit, gets twisted there. That's going to come with strength. As he gets stronger with Schmitty, he's going to be able to maybe not get pushed out on that last play.
What I find interesting is usually on those jet sweeps, you're trying to get the ball in the hands of like a 5'9", like a speed guy like a Ryan Broyles or a Jalen Saunders. Or Marquise Brown. OU did jet sweeps to Marquise Brown to great effect. but Katie's using him, and he's a big receiver, and he's doing a great job with those jet sweeps. He looks very athletic. It's a sort of a small wide receiver play that they felt comfortable enough giving to a big wide receiver, and he's doing a good job with them. I mean, he's not, sometimes a big receiver, you wonder it takes him too long to get going. So, they're kind of striders and need to get speed going. But he's right there, on the line of scrimmage, just darting and making cuts. So I was really impressed with his, just a little bit like Jaden Gibson, his big receiver, but small receiver moves.
Yeah, you're going to put those guys on opposite sides of the field, and they're going to stretch it. You see him; he's able to make good catches, tough catches. Like I say, playing at the highest level of Texas football, and to see him have such a dominant season speaks a lot to how good of a player he actually is. So he's got a little wiggle to him. If you can let this next clip roll a little bit, you're going to see a good down block right here coming up.
Whoops, sorry. There you go.
No, you're good. Right here, you're going to see him come down right here. Oh, missed that one. And then he works back out, just working off of those RPO concepts right there. He's able to make everything look the same. He's deceptively fast. He's physical. I love the long speed. And like you said, Chris, he's a guy that Katie wanted to get the ball in his hands. You think about a Jeff Badette who was here in recent memories for the Sooners. Maybe not as quite as Jeff, fast as Jeff, but a guy that can definitely move the chains and pop a big play or two if they've got coverage rolled to the other side. He's a good grab for the Sooners, and I'm glad they got him in the fold.
I really think Jaden Gibson, who we did in our previous episode, and now Nick Anderson. Those two guys are on campus. OU has lost wide receivers during the portal time. We know they lost Jaden Hazelwood, Mario Williams, and Mike Woods declared for the NFL draft. So our receiver room is a little bit depleted. I really think those guys enrolling early have a chance in spring to make some moves. A lot of people are talking about OU maybe adding another wide receiver in the spring or summer portal activity. But I really think that the coaching staff is going to give these freshmen and the other wide receivers really a run in spring to kind of prove that OU doesn't need to add another receiver. I think if Jaden and Nick make a lot of progress, I'm not sure why OU would need to pick up another wide receiver, just unless someone just awesome is out there. But I think, with the guys they got returning and their younger group, plus these two guys, I think OU could be set at wide receiver. I think we might be hearing a lot about Gibson and Anderson when spring finally starts.
Yeah, definitely the cupboard's not bare. I couldn't be more excited to see what they do in the spring. And these guys, like you said, enrolling early, being able to be on campus with Dylan Gabriel, Nick Everts, those guys forming relationships, going through summer ball with them. It's going to be huge for them, especially if they're trying to crack the rotation in year one. It'll be interesting to see if they can get in there.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching our latest video. Our next video is going to be a quick recap of the OU 2022 class. We're going to give some grades to some positions and talk a little bit about guys that we really like. We should have that video up for this weekend. And thanks, everyone, for viewing us.
All right, guys, like and subscribe. Thanks.